Pete, do you have the clip from Fantasy Football pregame? I brought receipts.
That was,
you don't?
That was not in the
What do you mean you don't?
That was
the
not
hell?
It was not in the rundown.
We talked about this.
No, you didn't.
Absolutely.
I love asking for something that's nowhere in the rundown.
Well, it's whatever. The fact of the matter is, as I said it, that's fine.
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry, served by Applebee's.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Connor Rogers, Matthew Berry, Lawrence Jackson in the house. Not in the rundown.
The truth of the matter is that a good producer, like Steven, our normal producer Steven, or Audio Adam is producing today.
Yes.
I think that either one of them, they would have had the clip, they would have anticipated, because a good producer and their talent are what is known as simpatico. It's two brains working as one. They're mind meld. Meanwhile, backup producer Pete is just here to F with me.
Can I ask
That's
you
all
something?
it is. Backup producer's Pete, job in life is just to F with me. That's constantly.
Can I ask you something, though?
Ask me anything.
I should ask Lawrence. When Tim Boyle has to start, do you give him the full playbook?
Negative.
Right. Backup producer Pete, you
Fair.
threw the full
You know
playbook
what?
at him. He started to
You know
scramble.
That's the best argument I've heard.
You know what?
You know
That's
what?
the perfect quarterback to use for that analogy, too.
Yeah.
By the way,
you might see more of them.
You might have asked somebody else. I might have said no.
By the way, can we get a close-up of Lawrence here? Take a look at. I'm just now.
Looking incredible.
You look great, but honestly, like, tell me, there's not some Eddie Murphy going on right here. I'm dead serious, man. With the haircut, the glasses, and the mustache. Tell me there's not some Eddie Murphy going on right there.
That's what some of my partners from Atlanta told me too. They sent me or Richard Roundtree Shab, but that's exactly the type of look I'm trying to go for. I'm just a throwback kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? This mustache, revolutionary.
But not an insult, by the way.
No,
Eddie Murphy's one of the greats. Eddie Murphy's one of the greats.
He's got a hit. Party all the time.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man.
Not exactly what he's known for at the top of the list.
That's a funny poll.
He does. Yes, he does have one. Like, I think top 20 hit, party all the time.
Just a man of many talents there.
Forget the acting.
I figured since you mentioned Eddie Murphy, I gotta mention party all the time.
Yeah, sure. Just do me one favor before we move on. Just repeat after me.
Yes.
I'm Gumby, damn it.
No.
He's not about that life.
You're not going to do that. I understand.
All right.
I can't laugh
fine.
like Eddie Murphy either.
No.
I don't know how to do the laugh.
But Eddie Murphy is, one of the all-time greats.
Shout out to Charlie Murphy, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. R.I.P.
People slept on Charlie Murphy.
Slept on him heavy.
All right, we got a
You're
busy
saying
show.
you've gotten that before? People have said Eddie Murphy and Richard Roundtree to you before?
Well, yeah, ever since I started going with this Marvin Gaye look, I got a couple of them guys. Like, it's all like from the same
I'm just saying,
look.
I think it's the haircut, too, and the
That's
glasses.
The
The haircut and the glasses.
Hat,
Yeah, usually he's in a Braves hat.
Yeah, dressed very well.
Yeah, exactly. He's repping some Player X or whatever.
Right,
you know what it is,
right?
right?
Yeah, maybe I'm going to church after this or something.
I doubt that.
Please pray for Anthony Richardson. No turnovers, baby.
There you go.
No turnovers.
Loaded show today. Keep it open, close it out as we always do on Wednesday. And, of course, we'll take a look at some of our early favorite bets for Week 4 as it's early line alert. Let's jump right in to keep it open or close it out. And, listen, you know where we're going to start after Monday night's disaster for Jacksonville. There has to be a conversation about Trevor Lawrence. But before we have that convo, let's hear from Trevor Lawrence on the mistakes going on.
Oh, this
right
is
now
in the rundown. Got it. Okay, yeah. Got it.
It seems like everyone takes their turn on making a bad play at the wrong time, including myself. It seems really difficult to go forward. Can't find that rhythm right now, and we all have our share in it, and it takes us making the plays out there. Players play, coaches coach, and when we step on the field, we got to make the plays, and so we have to take all the accountability, all the criticism, all the scrutiny, because we're not doing that right now, and that's our job, is to go make the plays. And I know that I'm not playing as good as I can play.
He looks broken.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Yeah. Searching for answers beyond himself.
But I'm just saying, just on the field as well. Like one of the interceptions was like brutally overthrown. It wasn't like a tip ball or he was under pressure. It was just like he just missed the guy.
Right.
I think that was the DeMar Hamlin interception, which literally just like flew over the guy's head. It was just like DeMar Hamlin was just like 3 feet behind the guy, and it's like, oh, okay.
I saw two 2 interceptions that look exactly like that this weekend. Well, I saw 2. Trevor Lawrence and speaking of Anthony Richardson, they both had that same but then there's another play, Matthew, where I see a video. He's spinning out of something, but there's nobody there.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's a missed throw.
Into double coverage.
Yep, into double coverage. Here he goes, like he just completely missing the guy. Not even close.
There's good protection on these.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no rush breaking through.
Yeah, that was the
that's
interception I was talking
that's
about.
the
That's
one
the DeMar
right
Hamlin
there.
interception where he just missed the guy by like 5 yards.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is just bad Trevor Lawrence highlights. All right, this one he's under pressure. That one, not on him. But, you know, as we're sitting here watching it, the fact of the matter is like, you know, Lawrence, I know you were saying before we got on show, bring back Urban Meyer. I know you were saying that.
There's people saying that he ruined Urban Meyer's career. That's what people are starting to say
twist.
now.
Yeah.
Was it Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, some people are saying, not me, but some people
It ain't
are
me
saying.
either. I
we're
ain't
not
saying
gonna
that
do
either.
that.
I ain't gonna
Lawrence didn't
I
say.
ain't talking about old party man Herb right now.
Yeah, no, we did not. You did not say that. I'm just making that up. But, but he looks like Urban Meyer era Trevor Lawrence, Connor.
Yeah, there's no timing in this offense. He's not comfortable. What was concerning there is Matthew, beyond the interception, he missed 2 checkdowns. Lawrence, he literally misplaced 2 checkdowns. His outlets, where that's as a quarterback, that's just natural.
And remember, we see Sam Darnold, who's playing great right now, but we remember a time when he said he was seeing ghosts. There's a play that we didn't just show where Trevor Lawrence was spinning out of nothing. Like, there was no pressure there. He just spun. So there was, like, I'm closing it out.
Right.
Got him at QB 27 this week. He's only averaging 186 yards passing per game, which would be fine if you were a straight-up dual-threat quarterback, but you ain't. He has faced 3 of the top 12 defenses against quarterbacks in fantasy. He gets Houston this weekend, which is the 5th worst against fantasy. So if there's any chance, like, you got to do it here. But if you're Trevor Lawrence, in 3 games, you should have done something regardless of opponents. So I'm going to close it out this week.
I'm closing out as well. I'm slightly higher on him, but not great. I mean, QB 24 for me. On the season, he's QB 28. He's averaging 11 fantasy points a game, right? 11.3. He is 23rd in yards per attempt, and he has the 4th highest off-target rate. I mean, so he's not even getting close. By the way, Week 13 of last season, that was the last time Trevor Lawrence got to 18 fantasy points. And 18 fantasy points is a nice number, but it's not like oh, you just won me the week.
Right.
Like, that's just solid top 12-ish quarterback numbers. He hasn't been there since Week 13 of last year. It feels a long way off from the guy that led the comeback against the Chargers in the playoffs. Like, it just feels like that guy's a completely different guy again. I will say, not only am I closing it out on him, I'm not starting him. Maybe he gets back on track at Houston. By the way, through 3 weeks of the season, the Texans 6th best against the pass. Now, again, some of that is some of the matchups they've played and teams have been able to run against them. But still, I'm closing it out for this week. And if I'm in a 1-quarterback league, to me, he's droppable.
That was my next question. Are we at the point where you're just dropping him?
Who's rushing to the waiver wire to get Trevor Lawrence?
I would be starting Sam Darnold and the Baker Mayfield
1,000%
over him right about now.
Right.
Oh, to me, that's not even close. I mean, like, to me, he's in the – I think you feel better about, Sam Darnold's a QB1, right? I mean, I think you feel better about, Gardner Minshew and Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, it's about right.
You
had Aaron Rodgers ahead of him at 19, I believe it was. Yeah.
Give me Andy Dalton this week at home against Cincinnati over Trevor Lawrence.
Especially against Cincinnati.
Right. I mean, and not even a thought. I just, it's too bad. I really like Trevor Lawrence, but until we see it, you got to close it out. It's a bad scene in Jacksonville. They're down bad. Producer Steven, diehard.
We haven't seen him since the loss.
Diehard Jacksonville fan. Haven't seen him at all. As well. And please come.
He still work here, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't, we're stuck with Pete the whole time. We don't want that, Lawrence. Come on.
Pete's got the Giants.
I know.
Steve's got
Pete.
the Jags,
That's the other problem. You understand? That's the other problem for me is backup producer Pete and Jay are now combined in their Giants, and so they combine against me, and it's just I'm alone on an island over here.
No, you ain't, because I'm with you. on the Commanders. Let's go.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my
What
friend.
they say, hail to the Commanders.
Hail victory.
State
Hail,
or
yeah,
something?
no, hail
that's
the
in
Commanders,
city.
hail
Yeah,
victory.
not state.
Hail State.
No, hail the Commanders, hail victory.
Yeah.
Our next player here, DeAndre Swift. He's got the Rams. Lawrence, bad week for DeAndre Swift. 13 carries, 20 rushing yards, and more importantly, Roschon Johnson getting involved in this
Yeah,
backfield.
it looked like the time's ticking right here. My man DeAndre Swift had high hopes for him, especially when he got the little contract coming off a good season with the Eagles. But he still led in snaps this game, 53% to Roschon Johnson, 37%. But the first two games he played 70 and 66% of the snaps respectively. This is close. This is hard to start him. I would say it depends on the situation that you're in. If you have a guy like Najee, J.K. Dobbins, Brian Robinson, you go DeAndre Swift. But if you went Jonathan Taylor, win a few receivers, then went Swift and then Tajay Spears, you have to start DeAndre Swift. I would slightly keep it open, RB28 for the week, but it's not something that I'm going into this week saying I love this.
He's averaging 1.8 yards per carry. Again, he is literally better off falling forward, which would get him 2 yards.
With a 3-inch football.
Yeah, with a 3-inch football. When you add the head, look at this. My guy Ian Hartitz, who's so good on Twitter or X, over at fantasylife.com. DeAndre Swift has 37 carries. This is the tweet. If you're just listening, he writes a tweet. DeAndre Swift has 37 carries this season. Yards gained on each from least to most.
Yo, this is crazy.
I mean, -12, -4, -4, -4, -3, -3, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. There's a 5, there's a couple of 6s, 1, 7, and 1, 20.
From week 1
in there.
to 20.
Did you see that -12 play? It was a terrible play call. I don't know what they was
It's been
doing.
another issue with the Bears.
The vision is off. And the other weird thing about DeAndre Swift is that coming out of college and, throughout his career with the Lions, he was this really good pass-catching running back. And whether it's just the coaching staff or something with his game, but the Eagles didn't use him that way, and so through 3 games, the Bears aren't using him that way.
You think that's why you paid him what you did?
It's super weird.
The offense as a whole is weird, though.
He's got an under 10% target share through 3 different games, under 50 yards in every game this season. His snap rate has decreased every single week. I picked up Roschon Johnson in a couple of leagues as well. By the way, you also seem to think, again, this offense isn't where it because Keenan Allen's missed 2 games. So, I feel like they haven't had the full complement of what they planned in the offseason out there. But as you see Cole Kmet increase his snaps every week, you figure that maybe Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron are saying, okay, this ain't working, and we got our number 1 pick out here who's flailing around. What can we do to put him in the best position to succeed? And so, hey, more Cole Kmet, who's clearly better than, Shane Waldron favorite Gerald Everett, and Roschon Johnson, Khalil Herbert, they're just getting nothing out of DeAndre Swift. So I'm closing it out for this week against the Rams. I'm also, again, in a 10-team league, in a 12-team league, I'm not advocating you have to drop him, but I'm also not saying, if you did drop him and we were in a league, I ain't rushing to pick him up.
Right. Well, and especially yesterday we went over the Bucky Irvings of the world, Braylon Allens of the world, Rico Dowdle.
Those guys all have more upside, it feels like, than DeAndre Swift.
Dropping is probably extreme because at some point he'll have a decent game. But where you got him ranked this week?
I am at running back 32.
Oh,
so I'm outside my top 30.
Yeah.
But the argument on Swift, look, I was down on him in the preseason because I was just I think this is going to be a running back by committee, right? I didn't expect him to average under 2 yards per carry. I just thought it was going to be touch competition on a team that wanted to throw with Caleb Williams, and that there was competition for the ball just between the tight ends, between Allen and DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, and then the running back room. I didn't expect him to be this brutal. He's all, and you watch the tape and he's missing holes and he's running wrong routes. The vision's off, Connor. It's
been really bad for DeAndre Swift. There's no way around it. And this offenve line's not very good this year, which plays another role into it.
I think they had 4 tries at a goal-to-goal situation mid-game. It was actually funny to see that, how does that happen?
Their red zone offense, it was brutal. By the way, I'm getting word there's more comparisons coming in.
For
Lawrence and Eddie Murphy.
Oh, let's see this.
Okay,
that's Eddie.
Yep.
Wait, can we? But where's? I need a side by side of Eddie and Lawrence.
Why is his face so red?
Yeah, I don't know.
got
I'm
the-
trying to think. There's one film in particular that I'm
Nutty Professor?
No, it might be Nutty Professor. It might be
No, not that
Bowfinger. Bowfinger, I feel like.
Life?
Do you remember what he looked like in Bowfinger? The movie he did with Steve Martin?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
All right. See if we can find that,
Professor
producer
sounds
Adam.
pretty
But this is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that producer Adam.
I was thinking more like Boomerang.
Oh yeah, Boomerang. I could see that too. Yeah.
Producer Adam's really on it.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah.
for stuff throughout the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Dropping stuff in that wasn't planned.
But 1,000%. Meanwhile, backup producer Pete is texting saying like, "Hey, I'm producing another show, but I hear my name is being dragged through the mud." By the way, backup producer Pete, focus on the show you're producing. This is the problem with Pete. Why are you worried about our show? You've got another show you're doing. I just, listen.
Tough for Sims unbuttoned right now.
I'm just 1,000%.
They're asking for their B-roll and Pete's
1,000%.
gone.
Sims is cursing up a storm.
Yep.
Poor Simsy over there. Like I don't know what to tell you, brother. Is what I'm going to tell you. It's whatever. He's a Giants fan too, so him and Pete, they got that Giants thing going here as well. I'm working out. By the way, what do you think of the nickname Audio Adam? Because producer Adam Wise does our podcast, right. He does our YouTube stuff, so he deals a lot in the world of audio for the company.
Those things do very well, it seems.
Do very well. 1,000%. The numbers there. The numbers there are blown out of the water.
The numbers are the numbers.
Yeah,
right? The old Bill Parcells.
I'm just saying. Right, exactly. You are what your record says.
Yes. Audio Adam has something to stand on.
Okay, good. I'm sort of, I'm
workshopping it?
Yeah, test ballooning that.
All right.
I kind of like that one.
Well,
I don't
we'll
know
see how
you
it
guys
does
feel.
the next
All right,
24
good.
hours.
All right.
Our next player here, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, had the monster week 2, Lawrence, and then came back down to earth in week 3. It's kind of been the Jaxon Smith-Njigba roller coaster this season so far.
Yeah, he basically flip-flopping every week. So if you go by that pattern, well, this is the week he goes off. I'm going to keep it open, but not for that reason. They're going against the Lions, who, when you look at what the Lions have done against guys who play in the slot this year, Chris Godwin was wide receiver 6 versus the Lions. Cooper Kupp was wide receiver 2 against the Lions, and then Greg Dortch didn't have the great game, but he's a number 3 option in offense. So I expect Jaxon to get back on track here. He's out snapping Tyler Lockett this season, 83% to 64% despite being in the slot. I have him at wide receiver 28 this week, so I'm going to keep that open.
He's got a 94% route participation for the year. Last week, 100%. And only 2 teams in the NFL, to your point about the matchup, Lawrence, only 2 teams in the NFL allow more catches and more yards to the slot than the Detroit Lions. Some of that skewed by the big week 1 that Cooper Kupp had against them. But nonetheless, last week the game got away from the Dolphins. Obviously, the Seahawks didn't have to throw all that much as well. So, you think about, you mentioned the over-under at 47. It's the 3rd highest game total in week 4 at the moment, tied for the 3rd highest. So I'm keeping it open. I'm as a top 30 play this week. I'm a believer in JSN's talent and this Ryan Grubb-led offense.
Bad week for Rashid Shaheed, guys. The goose egg in a week that was just not good for the Saints offense, their first real struggle. They got the Falcons this week, Matthew. Despite the goose egg last week, can you keep this one open?
I am keeping it open. I'm at wide receiver 33. I get it. There was a concern that, listen, Carr was off. Only 20% of Rashid Shaheed's targets last year were deemed catchable. But, look, they're always going to take shots, right? He's got an 18.8 average depth of target. Over 50% of his targets this year have come on deep passes. So going up against the Atlanta Falcons, where Rashid Shaheed has a 20% target share in every game this season, and 85% route participation as well. We expect, I think that they're going to have to take some deep shots. That my expectation is that the Falcons, as a lot of teams have, try to focus on stopping Chris Olave. They'll take some shots to Rashid Shaheed. So I'm keeping it open. Like he's been too good. The Saints have been too good. Carr has been too good through 2 of the first 3 weeks to bail on Shaheed. We liked him. He's out there a lot. He's one play. All he needs is that one play to make your day. I'm keeping it open. Again, he's my wide receiver 33 this week.
I'm going to bail.
Really?
I'm going to bail.
Wow.
Yeah, I started him in the League of Assholes versus Big Show.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It didn't go good.
No,
I know. It didn't go good, Matthew. I'm going to give him another chance, but for this week only, because he's playing the Falcons, the 11th best pass defense in the league. The Falcons might have the best safety tandem in the NFL. And then along to go one of the best corners in the league. Rashid Shaheed has caught 7 passes in 3 games. 2 of those are for 70 and for 59 yards. The Falcons have given up one long reception this year, 40 yards. It was George Pickens. Xavier Worthy couldn't get deep on him, although I would expect a better chance for Rashid Shaheed. I would expect him to have better chances than Worthy. But just all those factors, I'm gonna close. I got him at wide receiver 39 because one play could change his whole game, and I could be sitting here looking at Rashid Shaheed on my bench with 22 points because he popped off for 60 yards. But I think the Falcons' defensive back end is the best part of their defense, and I think they got to focus on Olave, but it's like you got to know that Rashid Shaheed, he's a different type of threat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to your point, Raheem Morris likes to play back. He doesn't want to give up the big play. This is something we saw against the Chiefs as well. But the problem here is again, it's not like Olave is, a guy that doesn't run deep routes, that can't beat you deep either as well. And so I just think at some point you pick your poison. They have such an effective run game with Kamara as well. Carr is so good off play action. Again, Rashid Shaheed is just not a guy you can single cover. And I get that the Falcons are really good on the back end, but I also think, Connor, and you can speak to this better than I can, but I also feel like Shaheed is no longer just a nothing but go routes. Like he's improved his
number two
receiver.
He's definitely that. The numbers wouldn't suggest it at this point, but we even saw during down the stretch last year, he started to become that. But another thing too, Derek Carr only throwing it 21 times a game. I do think he gets his. He's got a season high 25 passing attempts. I think he passes that this game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember though, the first 2 games, they blew everyone out. They didn't need to throw. Second game against the third game against the Eagles was super tight, and it was a defensive battle between 2 good defenses.
3 weird scripts.
3 weird.
Sure.
So I think that in a normal game script, Derek Carr's thrown it 30 times a game, if not more.
Lawrence, you brought up Xavier Worthy. He's got the Chargers this week. He's under 20 receiving yards in back-to-back games after that really exciting week 1, which, to be fair, we were like, let's cool it about this. There's some flukiness here. But even this feels below expectations right now, where there's no way you could start Xavier Worthy this week, right?
Nah. Like when I closed it on Rashid Shaheed, it was like a slow door close. This is a slam door shut right here. I mean, Xavier Worthy was wide receiver 11 after week 1. He's now wide receiver 46. The last 2 games, he has 5 or less fantasy points, and that's full PPR. 6 catches, 81 yards, and 1 TD in 3 games, and that's including that 35-yard busted coverage that he was able to benefit off of in week 1 against the Ravens. So, and then the Chargers are the 7th best against receivers in fantasy. So you put all that together, the Chiefs are winning just throwing it to Rashee Rice. Like, that's the only person Patrick Mahomes throws to, and they can't cover him. So why kind of force it to Worthy when you kind of got something going in the passing game? I got him as wide receiver 43 this week. I'll close it out on this week till I see him more involved.
I agree with you. I'm also closing it out. I have him even lower than you. I'm at wide receiver 47. He is, from a fantasy perspective only, at the moment, he's a sexier Mecole Hardman. In all seriousness, the thing about Mecole Hardman, I get the talent of Xavier Worthy and where I think long-term he's going to be a very good wide receiver in the NFL. But at the moment, they're using him on jet sweeps. They're using him in gadget plays. They're sending him deep on a couple of go routes. But honestly, so he's basically, how lucky do you feel? Do you think he gets in the end zone? We saw him get in the end zone twice on 3 touches in week 1 against the Ravens. But since then, he's had back-to-back games with under 20 receiving yards. In 3 games total, he's got 11 targets. Now, again, they try different ways to get the ball in his hand and use his speed, but I don't know if you can count on that. Again, we saw that with this offense with Mecole Hardman for a couple of years. Just the lack of consistent touches, it's how lucky do you feel? And until we see a more consistent role for him, but the problem is it just feels like this offense is Rashee Rice and then pass catcher by committee. No,
where you
seriously,
stop,
but it's like
right.
it is. It's we're back to the Chiefs of old. Like, because it's like, oh, there's a little bit of Juju and a little bit of Justin Watson, and here's Mecole Hardman and Xavier
Kelce.
Worthy.
He basically
and
what-
Noah Gray's getting a look or two, and you're like, and of course you got Kelce in there, and so it's just,
We just talked about Rashid Shaheed. That's what Xavier Worthy's doing right now, what Shaheed used to do.
Yes.
They should at least let him return some kicks or something.
That's to your point about Mecole Hardman. I mean, he was a second-round pick once upon a time.
Yes, he
there was
was.
massive expectations for him, and he never fulfilled them all the way as much as he was an impactful player. I think Worthy, there's not Jaylen Waddle expectations here, right? He's a fine prospect, but if you're expecting this to be some monster rookie wide receiver season, you're going to have to deal with the inconsistencies that we're living through right now. Now, I know what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, Xavier, what you're expecting with Xavier Worthy is, hey, this guy is all sorts of crazy fast. He's got a guy at quarterback who's a magician with a cannon for an arm, and he's got an offensive genius as a coach.
Right.
And can they take his skill set and make magic with it? And they probably eventually can. But right now, like, they don't need to.
No.
They don't need to. They're spreading the ball around. They've got a lot of different ways to beat you, and that's what they're doing.
I know what everyone's thinking. Everyone's going, what about the tight ends?
Yeah,
And
what
you're
about
not,
the tight
You're not
ends?
alone, because Matthew feels the same way. Take a listen.
Yes. All right, we're into tight ends now?
Running backs.
Running backs,
Yeah,
okay.
close.
Yeah,
You had 3 options and you chose one of the wrong ones out of 3.
Well, I'm going off
It's
my
fine.
list here. I'm going off my list.
Let's move over to the quarterbacks. Sorry, Matthew, you got to wait one more for tight ends. I know
man.
you're just itching to
Aw,
talk
man.
tight ends.
If you drafted a tight end early, you drink free today because you
Yeah.
probably need it.
You need it.
Yep.
It's
We're
been-
sorry.
That might be all of us in
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
one
yeah.
league.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I mean, listen, I was an advocate for an elite tight end early this year, and that was wrong. And by the way, I wasn't the only one. There were a lot of people out there that advocated the same draft
course.
strategy, but I'll own my own stuff.
like that caveat.
No, but like
Get everybody else in there.
I've done it in every league. I have Dalton Kincaid, Travis Kelce.
Mark
we're all there.
Andrews single-handedly killed 2 of my guillotine leagues. I'm in like 10, so whatever. But like, I single-handedly killed 2 of my guillotine leagues, my teams in guillotine leagues, and we know this. Like, Mark Andrews is one of the biggest killers of guillotine league teams throughout our entire system. Of all the
He's
leagues.
probably a free agent in ours right now, and nobody picking him up.
And you have $1,000 to work with.
Well, and we'll get there on Mark Andrews, but it's been brutal, and Laporte and McBride are banged up as well. Dalton Kincaid finally gets in the end zone last week, but it's been slow going for him as well. Kyle Pitts on a busted coverage, but he hasn't done anything since
great.
week 1. He scored week 1, but it's ugly.
Folks, you should have drafted Brock Bowers in round 9. If you done that, you'd be sitting okay right now. Nothing out there is great.
I like that you said okay.
Thanks.
You be doing, but
Thanks for
yeah,
that. That's helpful, Lawrence. Thanks.
Hey, I tried.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with Travis Kelce. I mean, there's really no question of keep it open or close it out with Travis Kelce because it's Travis Kelce and this landscape's horrible, Matthew.
Yeah.
But more important, like, where does he rank for you right now going into the week?
I have him at tight end 7. Here's the positives. If you want some positives on Travis Kelce, I got some positives on Travis Kelce. And by the way, it took me a while to find them because I mean it's been brutal. Like he was part of my DraftKings 3-play, my parlay on Sunday Night Football, and like that did not go well. Apologies to everyone that watched Football Night in America and tailed that. He was brutal. He's been under 35 receiving yard in all 3 games. He's had a 14% target share in the season. He's tight end 23 on a points per game basis. The guy that was the consensus 1 or 2 tight end in every fantasy draft. I had him at 2 in the preseason. He's tight end 23 on the season through 3 games. However, if you want some positive, if you want to try to look positively at this, it's not easy, but he does lead the Kansas City Chiefs in routes run. He is second in target. He's playing 85% of the snaps, so he's out there. It's just
unlike Mark Andrews.
Yeah, unlike Mark Andrews. At least he's on the field. At least there's the potential for something to happen with Travis Kelce. It just hasn't happened yet through 3 games. It's not a bad matchup against the Chargers at all. They're bottom 12 in the NFL in terms of most fantasy points allowed to opposing tight ends. Derwin James is not going to play in this game. He's suspended. That helps the matchup as well. And so I have it tight end 7 because here's the other thing. Where else are you going to go? You're going to go to the waiver wire? You're going to hope this is the week for Tyler Conklin? You're going to pick up Hunter Henry because somebody picked him up last week and then dropped him and grabbed him again? Like, you know.
Brenton Strange.
You're right, exactly. You
Hey,
for
he caught him
Brenton.
a little touchdown.
No, but that's what
That's
what you're sifting through. You know what I mean? Like Zach Ertz, like I kind of like Zach Ertz, but like it's not. In essence, basically, what you're doing in any league, you're trying to find a touchdown-dependent tight end. And so if you're already there saying like, all right, well, I'm starting a guy that's basically touchdown or bust at the tight end position, why not Travis Kelce, who's got as good a shot at a touchdown as any tight end in the NFL?
Well, and the injuries are a massive factor here. As we showed the top fantasy tight ends, George Kittle leads in points per game. George Kittle's already hurt. He missed week 3. We don't know how long.
And he's still, right. I mean, this is all on a points per game basis, but, you know.
McBride's in concussion protocol.
Yeah. Isaiah Likely's living off of week 1, basically. You know, Hunter Henry's living off of week 2.
Dallas Goedert.
Gesicki's living off of week 2 as well.
The Bears just remembered Cole Kmet's on the team.
Yeah.
He didn't help you out week 1 and 2.
Yeah, by the way, it's kind of crazy that, you know, Zach Ertz, who literally just yesterday celebrated his 57th birthday. Happy birthday, Zach Ertz.
It's 56.
Is it? Sorry about
56.
that. Yeah, I should really pay attention to the research. No, in all seriousness, but that was the joke about Zach Ertz. Like, he's going to be the guy till he gets hurt. McBride, Laporta, like, you know, Andrews is clearly not 100%. Like,
he's playable.
Zach Ertz is the one healthy guy out there. That's the crazy part.
I have Kelce at tight end 7 as
Kittle
well.
hurt, yeah.
And I am going to keep it open. But speaking of Zach Ertz, if I had Zach Ertz this week, I might play him over Travis Kelce. But
playing Arizona,
right?
Revenge game for Zach Ertz. Revenge game for Cliff Kingsbury.
They let him go for Trey McBride. He want that get back. But for Travis Kelce, like you said, what else you gonna do, man? You ain't starting nobody else, man.
Right.
Juwan
Johnson, come on down.
I'm not.
What are we doing?
I don't want that 2 catches for 12 yards and hoping for a touchdown from Juwan Johnson.
I got a feeling about Cade Otton. So what are we doing, America?
Tight ends are getting targeted 7.5 times per game when they go up against the Los Angeles Chargers. So, like, you live with that. Like you say, the positives is hard to find in this situation. Hopefully, Travis Kelce looking angry enough on the sideline with his mustache, although he don't look like Eddie Murphy with his. You know, you take the positives, and he's tight end 7 because there's no one else who's even worth. There's not many people worthy of being ranked higher right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's have the harder combo.
Yeah.
This is an easy one. You're going to start Travis Kelce. Can you start Mark Andrews anymore?
No.
Considering where you drafted him, is that not crazy?
I'm closing it out. I'm closing it out on Mark Andrews. And the teams that I have that are still alive, thank you, Mark Andrews. Thank you for nothing, for a big fat 0. I don't know. Mark Andrews is a friend of the show. We like Mark Andrews. He's been on the show. He's very personable, very nice. But he's not playing. Like, it's one thing if just the production hadn't been there and you can sort of explain it away with Kelce. At least he's out there. Like, I think this is – I have no inside information when I say this. This is just me reading the tea leaves. But I have to feel like he's more hurt than the Ravens are letting on. There's no other explanation for the fact that last week he had a 33% snap rate and he ran 6 routes. That's it. He had 6 total routes last week. He's got a 9% target share this season. In 3 games, he's got 8 total targets. Through 3 weeks, he's the 30th best tight end in fantasy on a points per game basis. He's averaging 4.2 fantasy points per game. If I said to you, like, I got a tight end for you, he's tight end 30, he's averaging 4.2 fantasy points per game. Oh, by the way, he ran 6 routes last week. Yeah. Like, how can you start that guy? Like, take the number and the name off the back of the jersey. There's no way you can start that guy. He's my tight end 14. I might be too high on him.
I was going to say, there was a couple of guys you had behind him that I'd play a couple of those guys.
I got Likely ahead of him, too. Yeah. To be fair, the Ravens, Lamar only threw 15 times that game because that's all they needed. But week 1 and 2, he was 74% of the snaps. And then 63%. Last season, he played under 70% of the snaps just one time last season. So 51 of his 65 yards this season is in one game.
If you wanted to start Tyler Conklin over him after last week, if you wanted to start Hunter Henry, thinking there's going to be a bounce back for Hunter Henry, like, I don't hate it. I get it. It's until we see it from the Ravens offense overall, which has been inconsistent this year, until we see it from Mark Andrews, like, I'm closing it out. I'm closing it out for this week and until further notice.
To recap, Matthew's keep it open, close it out rankings. Trevor Lawrence, QB 24, that's a close. DeAndre Swift, RB 32, that's a close. Jaxon Smith-Njigba against the Lions, Our wide receiver 28, keep that one open. Rashid, Shaheed also stay open at wide receiver 33. Xavier Worthy by far close at wide receiver 47. Travis Kelce, you don't have a lot of other options. He's tight end 7. You're keeping it open. Mark Andrews, things have gotten so bad, you got to find a different option. That's a close at tight end 14. And with that, let's get into the latest Rotoworld player news. Jaylen Warren dealing with a knee injury. His status is up in the air for Sunday against the Colts. And listening to Mike Tomlin, it doesn't sound great on the Steelers running back.
He was limping in game. In the latter part of the game, I kind of noticed it. And I pulled him from the game because I know Jaylen's tough. He's just going to go. And so we'll see where his availability is as we work this week. I'd imagine he's going to be somewhat limited tomorrow, and we'll see the trajectory of it in terms of including him or no in planning.
So for the Steelers right now, plenty of questions with this backfield. Jaylen Warren, things aren't looking good, Matthew. Sounds like Najee Harris is okay. I know there was some reports he was in a sling, but it sounds like he's okay. It could be Cordell Patterson.
Oh, yeah, it could.
If Warren's assuming.
Yes,
Yeah, revive.
Still explosive.
Arthur
Still
Smith
explosive.
can't quit himself, some Cordell Patterson.
Only 2 teams in the NFL have allowed more rushes of 10-plus yards or more explosive runs than the Indianapolis Colts. Their run defense has really struggled so far this year. 7 touches, that was a season high for Patterson in week number 3. Actually had a 16% target share again. If I'm in a deeper league, I'm desperate at running back. Like, he's somebody that you can probably pencil in for 10 to 12 touches in a matchup that you don't hate on the road at the Colts for Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, and I think
because I don't think Jaylen Warren's playing.
Yeah, so I think so definitely be firing up Najee Harris as he was already averaging almost 21 touches per game there with Jaylen Warren in the mix. So now that you have him out the mix as their pretty much their pass catching running back, like Najee Harris to do a little bit on the ground and in the receiving game.
Yeah, I mean, look, just to be clear, I have Harris at running back 23. I have Patterson at running back 44. I don't want people being like, oh, he loves Patterson. I'm just saying Patterson makes his debut inside the top 50 for the first time this season. Like, he's if you are desperate, if you're in a deeper league, he's got a chance at some value this week. But yes, I'm with Lawrence. You're starting Harris this week, not.
For the Panthers, Adam Thielen dealing with a hamstring injury. He's been placed on IR. He will miss the next 4 games. This passing offense, Matthew, looked really good with Andy Dalton. What does that do for the rookie and Xavier Legette?
I think it opens it up. This is a guy that was a first-round talent that was drafted by the Carolina Panthers. Second half of last week, he played 76% of the snaps. That led all Panthers wide receivers as well. He's got a 13.1 average depth of target. That is team high on Carolina. They like to chuck it deep to him, and it's also worth noting that 40% of his targets, we're dealing with a small sample size, but still, 40% of his targets so far this year have come in the slot, which is obviously where Thielen lines up. We have confidence in this offense under Andy Dalton. We also like playing at home against a Bengals defense that just got lit up by my Commanders and are now traveling on a short week. But for people, Connor, that may not be that familiar with Xavier Legette, talk to me about the rookie out of South Carolina, right?
Well, you started it with his average depth of target. This is a contested catch guy. And what did we see from Andy Dalton in his season debut? He was giving guys a chance. He was throwing. He wasn't scared of defenders lurking in the area. He was pushing the ball down the field. So that's what I like Legette bringing to this offense. All the things that we thought Mingo would do with this team when they drafted him, Legette's just better at. So the usage will be there. If he's a power slot for them, that's going to get him some manufactured touches. So, Lawrence, if you're in a tough spot, Legette is going to be playable this week.
And speaking of Mingo and Legette comparison, Legette has that speed. You know, he's got that high 4.3 speed that could get you there. If you saw what Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin was able to do to the Bengals defensive backfield, he's the receiver most likely to have that type of effect going into week 4, whereas to Deontay Johnson's going to be your guy who gets all the targets over the middle of the field, intermediate area. You looking to go deep, Xavier Legette can run past you or, like you said, make the 50-50 ball catch.
And by the way, Adam Thielen, by going on IR, he's going to miss 4 games. There's a chance he doesn't get this job back. They run a lot of 2 tight end sets so far, the Panthers are, so it's really just 2 wide receivers. For the most part, it was Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen. Like, by the way, north of 30% target share incoming for Deontay Johnson. Like, Deontay Johnson's going to be on the love list this week. I got news for you. But yeah, I mean, I do think there's a chance Legette takes this ball and takes this job and just holds on to it. I mean, again, Carolina has to look towards the future. This is the guy that they drafted in the first round.
Moved up in the first round to get. Like
yeah,
that.
they drafted exactly. He's the future, not Adam Thielen. All due respect to a friend of the podcast, Adam Thielen. We like Adam Thielen, but Leggett is the future there.
I'm sure Adam Thielen would tell you the same about Leggett. You know.
By the way, the photos of Lawrence apparently just keep rolling in. This has been a big hit today.
So this is what I was talking about. That's Bowfinger. That's a screenshot from Bowfinger, from Eddie Murphy and Bowfinger.
So look at the bottom of his hair, right? It looks like he got like a little mullet right there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that.
That's fair.
By the time we get to the playoffs, I'm going to have a little mullet to go. I ain't going to get the braces, though.
But, Connor, that's not I think that's a pretty good pull by me.
The glasses really take it home.
That's what I'm saying. The glasses and the mustache.
Same hair length.
Yeah.
Like you said, Lawrence, the party in the back needs to get started. We'll get there.
I'm trying to get the back part going. But
the business in the front, though, is working.
Got to go business in the front, but I'm trying to get my mullet going. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one right there.
I'm just saying. I thought it was a pretty good pull by me. Bowfinger, not the first one. It's not the first Eddie Murphy movie you think of.
No.
By the way, not a bad one. It's him and Steve Martin.
We both looked at you like,
what's Bowfinger?
That's all right.
Older vintage.
Dominate this NFL season with the Fantasy Life Plus subscription. Get weekly rankings, start-sit advice, DFS analysis, and betting tools. Use promo code SEASON20 for 20% off. Go to fantasylife.com/Rotoworld to learn more. After the break, are we undervaluing David Montgomery? Also, is this Chuba Hubbard's, is his success going to continue with Jonathan Brooks potentially coming back in a couple weeks? The answers to those questions just ahead.
Listen, run game, 188, O-line. 188 on the ground. Great job. All right, defense, you gave up 77. That's outstanding. We won the rush battle. Feels good to win, doesn't it? You guys earned it. Break it down.
Bring it up. Hey, team win. Way to go. Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Who's Eatin Good? Served by Applebee's. Of course, that was Dan Campbell, Caffeine Campbell, breaking it down after the Lions' big win. And with that, guys, we start with David Montgomery, who's got the Seahawks. He comes in as RB20 for you this week, Matthew. It feels like David Montgomery's kind of been forgotten about this year for no reason.
No, it's weird. We talked about this somewhat in the preseason as well. Look, I get that everyone's all excited about Jahmyr Gibbs. He's the flashier player, the bigger player, the more of a big play potential as well. I understand all that, but this is always going to be a power running team, and David Montgomery doesn't get work and just continues to get work in the goal line. They trust him there. They like it. We saw it last year. We saw it 2 years ago with Jamal Williams as well. This is a team that when they get in close, they want to run the ball. And so Dave Montgomery, who's had at least 16 fantasy points in every game this season, he scored a 1-yard rushing touchdown in all 3 games. That helps keep your fantasy value high. Since the start of last season, but David Montgomery has played 16 full games, right, where he didn't leave due to injury. In those 16 full games, he has a rushing touchdown in 14 of them. He has a nose for the end zone. They trust him in that role, and he's able to get in there behind that great offensive line. So far this year, for everyone that was worried the role was going to go down because of the emergence of Jahmyr Gibbs, to start the season, David Montgomery has 59 touches. That's the most he's had in the first 3 games of a season in his career. He's a top 20 play for me at home against the Seahawks on Monday night, by the way, through 3 games. And again, the Seahawks haven't played anyone. They've been winning. Their Seahawks are 3-0, so they've been winning, so teams have had to throw. But it's worth noting, through 3 weeks, the Seahawks are 15th against the run and number 1 against the pass, again, through 3 weeks. Again, some of that has been game script skewed, but it does feel like on Monday night, that's one of the things the Lions are going to want to do is run the ball against Seattle and try to slow down the pace of this game.
Well, look at the video we just watched with Dan Campbell. He not talking about passing yards. No. He ain't even talking about defense. He said we won the rushing battle 188 to 70-something.
77.
That's David Montgomery right there. He's like, I have him ranked 17 this week. I always rank Jahmyr Gibbs higher because he's more efficient. That's just a
more
fact.
Explosive too.
That's just a fact, right? But what's also a fact is that David Montgomery is a top 10 running back in fantasy right now, and a big reason for that is that he's scoring a touchdown every game. He's had a rushing touchdown in every single game. You look at the Seahawks in 3 games, they've allowed over 300 rushing yards, 2 running backs. This game is like pretty much asking David Montgomery to score another touchdown.
If you just put $10 on David Montgomery anytime touchdown since the start of last year, every single game on DraftKings, you're doing good.
The hit rate is quite
pretty
nice.
good.
Yeah.
Pretty
Quite
good.
nice.
Pretty good. Especially if, by the way, you did it this year too. You just started it off and just kept, kept rolling your money. There you go.
Aaron Jones coming off a monster week, almost 26 fantasy points. He's got the Packers. Matthew, a top 10 play for you this week with Aaron Jones.
These are the kind of things that happen when you free Aaron Jones. I started the free Aaron Jones chant, mantra, rallying cry, movement back in my ESPN days, way back when Aaron Jones was being stymied by Mike McCarthy, who, again, no one has gotten less out of more talent than Mike McCarthy. But so far this year, one of the reasons we liked Aaron Jones and that we talked about him was people were down on him because of the age and because of the injury history. But I'm like, look at how he ended the season.
I'm about to say,
right?
yeah.
He was so good down the stretch at the end of last year and in the playoffs, obviously. He was just absolutely fantastic. He's picked up right where he left off. So far this season, he's the 9th best running back on a points per game basis. He's had at least 18 fantasy points in 2 or 3 games, 4th among running backs in yards from scrimmage. He's got an almost 20% target share, 2nd among running backs. Sam Darnold likes to check down to him as well. The other thing about Aaron Jones is when they get in close, they're not pulling him. He's tied for the 2nd most goal-to-go rushing attempts in the NFL. He's got 7 through 3 games so far. You see it there on your screen. Only Breece Hall has a higher target share than Aaron Jones, higher than Alvin Kamara, higher than Devon Achane, higher than Rashad White. I mean, I think that's the key here, is that you don't really think about Aaron Jones in the passing game maybe the way you should when you see the other names on that list. I think the bigger question here for Aaron Jones, because everyone's obviously that you have him, you're starting him on the road at Green Bay, revenge game for Aaron Jones. Yeah. But I think the bigger question here, Lawrence and Connor, is if you have him, are you nervous about injury eventually? Are you trying to sell high, or you just, I'm going to ride it out, and if I miss a couple games, I miss a couple of games?
Well, if you're trying to sell high, the person you're trying to sell high to probably figures you're trying to do that. And if you're selling them high, who is it for? You'd have to be getting a better, it'd be Aaron Jones and someone else that you package in to try to get a better running back. In that case, I would do it. Other than that, you drafted him, he's doing well.
He's been a value this year, for sure.
Last 2 games, in each of the last 2 games, 6 targets, 5 receptions. He's getting 18 touches a game. If you say Aaron Jones, 18 touches the rest of the season, then we probably not trading him. Now, the whole injury thing, I mean, that's why he's not a 3rd-round pick, 2nd-round pick in fantasy anymore. You just got to kind of ride it out. But if you do try to trade him away, it better be for a better running back.
Yeah.
Where are you on this?
I think I'd hold because I'm not confident in what you're getting back. The
Right,
idea
yeah.
about packaging him and maybe getting a top receiver, and it depends on your roster, but right now, running backs like him are winning weeks consistently while Christian McCaffrey hasn't played, right? We're dealing with Isaiah Pacheco's out for the long term. It's not easy to find guys like this. I don't know how quick I'd be to move on.
I'm not at all. Here's what I would do, and I have Aaron Jones on a few teams. This is what I'm doing on all the teams that I have Aaron Jones on. First off, a couple of things. Why is somebody having the success they are? For me, is it sustainable, right? And so I think in the case of Aaron Jones, given his role in this offense, he's getting a massive target share and he's getting the goal line work. And we know he's talented. So it's those are all sustainable things. Even if he's not getting the touchdowns, the fact that it's a pass-first offense and he's got, as you just saw on your screen there through 3 weeks, he's got the 2nd highest target share among running backs in the NFL. If I have Aaron Jones, what I'm trying to do is try to go buy low on Ty Chandler. Because I think we all believe in this offense. We believe in the Sam Darnold-led Kevin O'Connell offense. And so if Aaron Jones were to miss any time, we have confidence that Ty Chandler would be effective. That's what I would do. I think that's probably
that's good advice, especially seeing what Ty Chandler did when he was the lead back last season.
Roster the backfield. Quick on Chuba Hubbard here, guys.
Yep.
Lawrence, he's got the Bengals. You talked about how you like this matchup, and he's coming off a week where he had almost 28 fantasy points. With Andy Dalton under center, things look a lot different for Chuba Hubbard right now.
Yeah, it looked like they kind of shifting towards we finally about to make Chuba Hubbard the guy. We'll wait to see what happens with Jonathan Brooks. But after 26 touches and 169 yards from scrimmage, that looks like the workhorse running back to me. He only played 58% of the snaps in the last 2 games, which is kind of iffy, but he's got 74. He had 74% of the running back touches in week 2, so that's what you want. Like, on the field or not, when he's on the field, you know he's getting the ball. So I like him for this week against that Bengals.
Yeah, and I'm not even worried about the snap percentage because, again, last week they were blowing him out. The week before they were getting blown out. In more competitive game scripts, I think he's the guy they clearly prefer. Yeah. And to your point about Jonathan Brooks, in the preseason it was like, oh, Jonathan Brooks should be back week 3 or 4. We haven't even heard about him practicing. Right, yeah. So in this new it's a good offensive line. He's getting all the work. I have him as a top 20 play this week against Cincinnati, and 3 of the next 4. Cincinnati, at Chicago you don't love, but then home to Atlanta, at Washington. Like, the schedule's here nice, and he's a good pass catcher as well, so he's a true 3-down back on an offense that looks a lot better under Andy Dalton.
Find out if the U.S. can continue its dominance at the President's Cup this week when golf's biggest stars face off at the Royal Montreal Golf Club. Watch tomorrow through Sunday on NBC, Golf Channel, and Peacock. We're taking our last break. When we're back, early line alert is coming up. We'll tell you what bets we've circled for Sunday right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is the #1 place to bet touchdowns, and new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use promo code Barry when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. It is time for last call. Let's take a look at some early lines courtesy of our friends at DraftKings. We got a lot of division matchups this week, guys, and of course a big matchup for Sunday Night Football on the bottom there as well, with the Bills traveling to Baltimore.
I get that the Ravens are a sexy team, but I don't understand how a 3-0 undefeated Bills team is getting points at a 1-2 Ravens team. Give me the Bills getting 2.5, plus 2.5. Like, Josh Allen is playing at another level right now.
That line, I get the home field advantage thing, but as Jay always tells us, like,
says it's worth a point and a half.
Baltimore is a point better?
Not what we've seen through 3 games so far this year. Their defense isn't what it used to be.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys at Giants. Give me the Giants outright to win. I like the Vikings last week over the Texans. They laid the smackdown. The Cowboys can't run nor defend the run. Giants look good against the Browns.
Good call, Lawrence, last week for the outright Vikings win. That cashes. I like the Rams getting 3 points against the Bears. Better coaching staff. They shouldn't be getting points. Sign me up.
No, they shouldn't. I like the tracksuit, by the way. When you and Krista decided to enter the swinger lifestyle, was it your idea or hers?
I didn't take. I got to lose the undershirt.
Fair enough. Hey, for Lawrence and Connor, I'm Matthew. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Rotoworld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.